Hi, welcome to one of a series of short Reader's Guide films from Plainfield Public Library's Reference Department. We hope you'll enjoy this reading guide for a subgenre of books. The following books are just a sample of what the library offers. You'll find a link to a printable PDF version of this guide in the description of this video. All the titles are available for free with your library card in a variety of formats. Please see the individual title listings for details. If any of the books interest you and you want to find out more, or if you have any other inquiries, you can speak with the librarian on 908-757-1111 extension 112 or email ref@plfdpl.info. If you want more time to read about a book on screen now as you watch, just hit pause. Now, please enjoy our Reader's Guide. We hope you find it useful. African American historical fiction. This subgenre features stories with African American themes, plots, and characters, often based firmly in historical fact. These historical novels bring to life African American experiences, from the colonial era and centuries of slavery to the modern civil rights movement. First up, The Water Dancer by Ta-Nehisi Coates. Hiram manages to escape the Walker plantation and join a guerrilla cell in the wilderness. Even as he is enlisted in a war between slavers and the enslaved, all he longs to do is return to the plantation to free his adopted family. An Unconditional Freedom by Alyssa Cole. Daniel Cumberland, born free in Massachusetts, studied law with dreams of helping his people. Dreams that died the night he was kidnapped and sold into slavery. Daniel is rescued, but he's a changed man. He's offered the chance at espionage against the Confederacy, and he accepts. This is the latest, book number 3 in the Loyal League series. A Death in Harlem by Carla F.C. Holloway. Weldon is Harlem's first African-American policeman. He investigates a case in which a woman fell from the Hotel Teresa during a banquet. Did she jump, fall accidentally, or was she pushed? The 12 Tribes of Hattie by Ayanna Mathis. Great Migration era mother Hattie Shepherd, in spite of poverty and a dysfunctional husband, uses love and southern remedies to raise 9 children and prepare them for the realities of a harsh world. Deacon King Kong by James McBride. In 1969, a church deacon pulls out a gun in the courtyard of a housing project and shoots the project's drug dealer at point-blank range. The author brings to vivid life the characters who are affected by the shooting. The Shadow King by Maza Mengistu. During World War II, hundreds of thousands of Italians march on Ethiopia. As the war begins in earnest, Hayat, Aster, and other women long to do more than care for the wounded and bury the dead. Across the Way by Mary Monroe. Odell would do anything to be free of his bootlegging, blackmailing, money-extorting neighbours who always seemed to bounce back from bad luck, but the Hamiltons planned to make trouble for Odell and his wife Joyce in their quest for revenge. This is the latest, book number 3 in the Neighbours series. She Would Be King by Waiyetu Moore. When 3 strangers meet in the settlement of Monrovia, their gifts help them salvage the tense relationship between the African American settlers and the indigenous tribes as new nations form around them. Citizens Creek by Lalita Tademe. Born into slavery in 1810, Cow Tom possesses the ability to master languages. He is sold to a Creek Indian chief before his 10th birthday. Cow Tom buys his freedom after serving as a translator during the American Indian Wars. The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. Elwood is about to enroll in the local black college, but for a black boy in the Jim Crow South of the early 1960s, one innocent mistake is enough to destroy the future. Elwood is sentenced to a juvenile reformatory called the Nickel Academy. American Spy by Lauren Wilkinson. A young black FBI agent's career has stalled with piles of paperwork. Then she suddenly gets the chance to join a task force against a communist group. In the year that follows, she observes and seduces the group's leader. In West Mills by Deshaun Charles Winslow. Winslow's stellar debut follows the residents of a black neighborhood in a tiny North Carolina town over the course of several decades, beginning in 1941 and ending in 1987. At the center of the novel is ornery Azalea, nicknamed Not. Conjure Women by Afia Atakora. Rue is a midwife, healer, and conjurer of curses on a plantation. The story tells about the families she cares for and the mysteries and secrets she knows about the plantation owner's daughter. Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. An unexpected teenage pregnancy pulls together two families from different social classes. Moving forward and backward in time, the novel uncovers the role that history and community have played in the experiences, decisions, and relationships of these families, and in the life of the new child. Cane River by Lalita Tademi. Based on the author's own genealogy, the book covers 4 generations of African American women. It begins with the early days of slavery, through the Civil War, and into the pre-civil rights South. A Conversation with the Man by John Ridley. This is an evocative novel of an aspiring black comic's rise to near fame and fortune during the Rat Pack era. Comedian Jackie Mann wanted to be somebody, and for him there was only one way to achieve that: to make it big. Make it no matter what the cost: friends, family, one's own self-esteem and self-respect. Washington and Caesar by Christian Cameron. This story is inspired by a little-known fact. Many African American slaves escaped to join the British during the American Revolution. In this story, Caesar escapes Washington's estate and joins the legendary Loyalist Corps, made up of formerly enslaved people. The Known World by Edward P. Jones. Henry Townsend, a farmer, bootmaker, and former slave, through the surprising twists and unforeseen turns of life in antebellum Virginia, becomes proprietor of his own plantation, as well as his own slaves. Leaving by Richard Dry. In 1959, newly widowed and pregnant, Ruby Washington and her half-brother board a bus. They are leaving rural South Carolina and are on their way to Oakland, California. There, far from the violent events that forced them to flee, they hope to start a new life. Song Yet Sung by James McBride. Liz, a young runaway with odd dreams, accidentally inspires a breakout from the prison of a notorious slaver, Patty Cannon. As Cannon stalks revenge, Liz flees into the secretive world of the Underground Railroad with its unspoken clues to freedom known as the Code. The Wind Done Gone by Alice Randall. Inspired by the world of Margaret Mitchell's 1936 novel Gone with the Wind, Randall's novel traces the life and times of an illegitimate multiracial daughter of a plantation owner as she makes her way to Reconstruction, Washington, D.C. A Mercy by Toni Morrison. In exchange for a bad debt, an Anglo-Dutch trader takes on Florence, a young enslaved girl who feels abandoned by her mother and who searches for love, first from an older servant woman at her master's new home, and then from a handsome, free blacksmith. Freshwater Road by Denise Nicholas. In 1964, a young woman leaves Ann Arbor to go to Mississippi to help found a voter registration project as part of Freedom Summer. As the summer unfolds, she confronts new experiences and realities as she interacts with the citizens of Pineyville.